What up, watch peeps? Many of you know I recently picked up the Serica WWW Field Watch, a really cool watch inspired by British Army watches of the 1940s. So the logical next step was to pick up the Bonklip bracelet that Joseph Bonnie has recreated to go along with it. Now the Bonklip bracelet, the development of it goes all the way back to the 1920s, but it was actually issued on British military watches in the 1950s and 60s. So you can see why it's a good match for the watch. It's very fitting with the aesthetic. Now the Bonklip bracelet was purpose-driven in that it was designed to be a mass-produced, easy-to-adjust stainless steel bracelet. It was one of the earliest stainless steel bracelets, actually. So let's flip the camera around, I'll show you how it works and share my thoughts on it. The bracelet was purchased with my own money, it was not donated or lent into the channel. Speaking of which, if you enjoy the channel, subscribing is a huge help and immensely appreciated. Let's get to it. I'm Pete and we are Chillin' with Watches. Alright, first things first, wrist check. So today I'm wearing my CWC G10, but I have a G10 Squatty bumper cover on there. It's basically like a plastic cover that snaps on over the case. Just gives a little bit of a different look. I guess some added protection, but mostly I just thought it was kind of fun. Alright, so the Bonklip bracelet. You can get these from either the Joseph Bonnie website or the Serica website. They will run you about $90 to $100 depending on which of those two sites you purchase from. So my first impression when opening this and taking it out is that it's made out of just very thin pressed metal, right? Almost a construction that you would associate with an inferior or cheap bracelet. But it's designed intentionally to be this way in that it's recreating the way the bracelet was originally made. So the adjustment on it is done, it's almost like a Velcro strap where you'll pull hard through to adjust the length, and then instead of just Velcroing it down, it has a closure here. And even if you look at this, if you want to call it a clasp, you can see that it's just very thin pressed metal. And, and I criticized that at first, and I thought, why wouldn't they take this opportunity to kind of modernize this and make it a little more robust and a little more solid? But I don't think you can, based on how this functions, because that little flange has to fit in between any two links. And that is part of how it secures. So you can see, I mean, you have almost infinite micro adjust. And then what happens is, once you fit that flange into there, I'll show you that again. You can just put that flange, goes into in between any two links. And then what happens when you close it down is, you'll see there's these little two tabs here. Now they don't click onto the links underneath, if I can remove that. They actually just click onto themselves. So onto the inside of there. And that is how it holds it on. And I thought, boy, that seems really insecure. I don't feel super safe with that, but if you look at how it works, it's science, yo. Once this flange is in here and this is pressed down, the tension on the bracelet's going to be pulling out, right? So as long as that's pulling out, it's actually further forcing this down and further pushing that flange underneath the links. You can see it protruding from the underside there. So where it's not going to come out. So it's more secure than it looks. But yeah, I mean, this takes Rattly to a whole nother level. I will give it that it's very light. It's extremely comfortable. I mean, it's so flexible. And it breathes, you can see, it's almost half air. So let's get it on the watch and I'll show you how you attach it and how it works on there. Okay, so to fit it to your watch, you'll see how it's actually made is there's one small piece here, and then this is basically a long piece that moves independently. So you're going to want to start by taking the small piece and affixing that to the 12 o'clock side of your watch. Now these spring bars that came with the Serica that uses, these are like hardcore shoulderless spring bars. The kind you often see designed to be used with NATOs or any other kind of pass-through straps. So I usually just fit that one in there. I'm just going to give it a little push to get it underneath the lug. And those snap in really solidly. So then you're going to take the other side, and obviously we're going to fix that to the 6 o'clock side of the watch. Probably should have taped this off, but this watch is a keeper and I'm not too concerned about it. And I'm pretty good at putting those things in. All right, so that is how it attaches. And you'll see this is the full size. So this brings about another one of my criticisms of this bracelet. So I measured my hand and wrist as per the instructions on this Serica site regarding this bracelet. And my wrist comes in, I think, 17.5 centimeters, which is about 7.25 inches. And I think they said this is the regular size bracelet, which is supposed to go up to, I forget what they said, almost 20 centimeters wrist size. So it's well underneath that mark. And then the other measurement they want you to take is around the widest part of your palm. And I measured that at 23 millimeters. And the size requirements for this regular were up to 24, did I say millimeters? 23 centimeters. And the size requirements for this regular size bracelet are up to 24 centimeters. But I'm going to show you, I have a rather hard time fitting this over my hand sometimes. It's a tight fit, right? I can get it there and if it's hot or your hand is swollen at all, you can forget about it. It's really hard. You got to work it back and forth. So right now, not so bad. See it flopping all around. So when you're attaching it to your wrist, once it's on, you'll find that clasp, and you just pull on it until you get it to like as tight as you want. Fit that flange underneath any two links, and you press down, and you'll feel that kind of click in. And that's it. So, I mean, I have it on kind of loose here, but really you want to put it on, I guess, as tight as you feel comfortable, because it seems like once you let go, it's kind of loose. But it's so light and breathy and flexible that it's not going to be uncomfortable like a thicker, more rigid bracelet would be when you wear it tight. So this one, it is really comfortable. That is definitely on the plus column for it. But I'm a little disappointed on the sizing. I'm getting it on and off pretty easily here, but you'll have to take my word for it that other times when I'm not in my cool basement and it's hotter, that's a little bit of a challenge. So you might want to take that into consideration if you're picking one of these up. So yeah, that's about it. You can see it's pretty easy to use. And I wore it around for a little while, and I didn't have any issue with the clasp coming undone or even looking like it was threatening to come undone. So it takes a little getting used to, in that it is very different from any other bracelet I've had, but it's comfortable. I really like the way it looks on this watch. I'll have to get around to trying it on some other watches. I don't know that it will work with anything much bigger than this. This is a 37.7 millimeter watch on my 7.25 inch wrist, which I now know is about 17.5 centimeters. So yeah, I'm not sure. On a watch head much bigger than this, I think it's going to look disproportionately thin, and I don't think it'll work, but it looks pretty good on this, and it's just cool that it's all very period correct, you know. Lately I've been on kind of a kick with these military inspired or military issued watches, and I'm just having a lot of fun with them. So yeah, that's it for today. I just wanted to show you this bracelet. Figured not too many people have seen it or seen any videos on how to use it. So this wasn't really a watch review per se, but I think we should do this anyway.
Peep the loom.
Pretty similar loom, really. This is the Serica, the broad arrow hour hand, and this is the G10. Doesn't want to focus on that. But all right, let's flip the camera back around and close this thing out. So there it is, guys, the Bonklip bracelet on my Serica WWW, which stands for wristwatch waterproof. I think that was a designation that the military used on these watches back in the 50s. So I dig it aesthetically. I think it does have some shortcomings, or maybe they were just shortcomings in my expectations. But it's part of a package deal. It's part of a look. It definitely has that vintage vibe and charm. Don't buy it expecting a modern fitted end link bracelet, because it is not that. But if this is a look that you're going for and you really want that realistic vintage feel, you might enjoy this bracelet. So share your thoughts, guys. Let me know what you think of it in the comments below. Before I let you go, sneaker check. Wearing them Citron Yeezys. Alright guys, I'm out. It's not too much trouble. Like, subscribe, and come back next time. Peace.